Hey BookTube, it's Charlie from Reader Turned Writer, and today I am sharing my Bookish bullet journal. I am an ultra organized, love lists, love checklists. I'm always redoing systems, redoing how I do my meal planning, redoing my whole life with how I organize it and plan it, and I love planning things. But I've never done a bullet journal before. I don't know why. I've never really looked into bullet journals. I've heard people talk about them vaguely, but it's always like, oh, they're too complicated, they're so complicated, I don't like bullet journals. That's basically what I've heard about bullet journals before, and I didn't really know what it was. Then Kaylee from Books for MKs, I'll link her video down below, she shared her bullet journal, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever, and I was like, why haven't I ever done a bullet journal before? And so then I was like planning my bullet journal and looking up on Pinterest all these things, and then I was like, Charlie, stop. You do not need to make an extensive bullet journal. You already have a plan and a way that you do everything. I use an app called Quip for a lot of my checklists and different things that I use for like everything. My whole life is on Quip. I also have a system for meal planning, and for pretty much everything that I do, I have a system for it already, and I knew I didn't need to get drawn into bullet journaling because it would just take a lot of my time. So I took a step back and I was like, okay, I'm not going to do a bullet journal. But then Harriet Rose, I'll link her video down below as well, did a video on her Bookish bullet journal, and I was like, that is brilliant. I want to do a Bookish bullet journal. And so I did, and so I'll share it with you. It's really, I'm not an artist, I'm just going to warn you right now. I also did not go out and buy like a special notebook for it or anything. I just grabbed a notebook that we already had on hand, and so it doesn't look all that fancy or anything yet. If I really continue to like doing this bullet journal, which so far I love it, then next year I'll probably buy a special notebook for it. But here's my cover. It's really basic, just 2018 Bookish journal. And then on the next page I have just kind of an overview of my year. I just put anything on this calendar that was like a big event that I thought might deter me from making videos or whatnot. For example, I have on here a lot of the holidays. I have trips. My family lives about 3 hours away, and so we go there often for the weekend or for a week, and so I put any time that we're going to do that because that does interfere with recording and editing and uploading. Weddings, birthdays, when my babies do, because obviously that will be a big deal when it comes to recording videos, or even just having a newborn. In September I put that I'll have a newborn because I've had 2 already and I know how it can be. So that's my calendar. I also had this idea, I don't know if I'll actually follow through with this, but I had this idea of kind of color coding the different months and using different color ink for different pages on the different months. We'll see if that actually happens. So my next page are just books that I want to read. These are just books that have been on my TBR for a while. So I don't actually use Goodreads for my TBR. I use Amazon, and I just have Amazon wish list kind of organized by different subjects. It's a little bit ridiculous. If you could see my Amazon wish list and how I've organized them, maybe I'll do that in a different video sometime. And I don't always buy them through Amazon. A lot of times I'll get them from the library, but I do buy ebooks a lot off of Amazon, and these are just books that I really want to get to this year because I have a lot of books on my TBR, but these are ones that I feel like I really want to get to. I chose, there's 60 spots and I chose 30 to fill up for now that I'll try and get to, and then as I have more recommendations off of BookTube that I'm like, man, I really want to read that book, or as I remember more books, I can put them in the rest of the year. And then I have this little key up here for how to mark them if I read them or bought the ebook or just bought the book, which probably won't happen, but I should also have something for if I decide not to do it. Maybe I'll cross it out. I don't know. The next page. So over here, I wanted to do this for the whole year, but obviously that's not going to work, so I'm probably going to end up doing this a more monthly thing, because these are the ebooks that I wanted to have a side for ebooks that I own that I haven't read, and a side for hard copy books that I own that I haven't read. And I don't have a lot of hard copy because I tried to read all of my books that I owned before we moved, and then I bought some more, so I do have a few, but I don't have a lot. I do have, however, an insane amount of ebooks that I own that I haven't read. I didn't even put them all here, and I ended up deleting some of them as I started reading them and being like, I don't even want to read this, so I'm not even going to try. But that's, yeah, a little bit ridiculous, but hopefully I will be able to cut down on that this year a little bit and cut down on the books that I actually want to read and whittle down my lists a little. This site is just an account of my library books so I can keep track of them. Right now I have Strange the Dreamer out by Leonie Taylor, but for some reason the library doesn't think I have it, so I put none on due date because it's never due, because the library doesn't know I have it for some strange reason. But I will definitely return it when I'm done. But it is nice that I don't have a due date on it because it's taking me a while to get through it. I really like it, it's just taking me a while. I also have a key up here for if I DNF or actually finish reading it. Then I have my series. I actually got this from Kaylee at Books for MKs. I've taken a lot of these pages directly from Pinterest or from Kaylee or from Harriet and just copied them straight over, so sorry if that offends you. This is just a track of the series that I want to finish, and I left this page blank in case I have so many series that I want to finish, but I didn't even finish filling out the first page, so maybe I'll remember more. Then I have my book log, and this is for the entire year. So far I only have January on there. I'll probably put a line here and maybe put January here, and if it's a reread then I put a star next to it and I number it as I read them so I know how many I read in the month. And I have the book and then the author underneath it, and then I have the rating, that I rated it, and then the date that I finished it. So, and then I left quite a few pages here because I know that I could probably fill all of these pages easily this year. And then this is my favorite page, it's my stats page, and I haven't quite finished it for January here, but this is just a graph of how many pages I've read in the month, and I'm probably going to have to redo that because 700 pages, I've already read more than that in January. But then I keep track of how many female versus male authors, how many of each star I read, how many I DNF'd, and then how many in each genre that I read that month. And I'll keep track for the entire year on here, but I'll use the colors to kind of keep track of the months. And then this page is a balance sheet. I got this from Harriet, but I don't know why I did this because there's no way I'm going to be able to fit how many books I read in the entire year in there from how big I was writing, so I'm not sure what to do with this section. But this is just how many books I read, how many books I bought, and how many books I donated, and then I'll add these up minus this, no, subtract how many books I read and donated minus books bought and have my total there, and hopefully I'll be getting rid of more books off of my list than adding them. And then I have just a page that I can put favorite quotes from books that I read, and I'll try and use I might color over the quotes too with the month's color, I'm not sure yet on that. And then I started my monthly tracker thing. So I have books that I read in January, and I'll put how many books I read and how many pages I read, and this is how many pages are in these books. And then these are books that I donated, and I did donate 2 books this month that I decided I don't really ever want to reread, and I don't really care if my kids read them, so I might holding on to them. And then these are the books that I bought, and then down here is kind of for booktube video ideas that I want to do. December's best videos. This is also from Harriet. She did the same thing and I thought it was a really good idea. And then January goals. And then on this side is just a calendar for January, and I can put when I've uploaded videos and any notes, things like that. And then on the next page I just have a notes section for any notes, like I need a new computer because my computer died, and so I've been using my husband's, but it doesn't really work to have us share a computer with all the stuff that we do, and so I need a new computer. And so I was just kind of making notes on what kind of computer I want. And then I didn't do this for January because it's earlier in my thing, but this page on other months will be this for that month. Which ebooks and hardcover books I own that I haven't read. So I can keep track of the TBR that I actually own, because sometimes there are books that you want to buy and read because you want to read that specific book, but a lot of times I'm just looking for a book, and if I can go to ones that I own already, then it will make it so that I don't have to spend more money on books when I already have books to read. So that's it so far. Oh, and then in the very back I have a favorite characters page, and I might do other things like favorite fantasies, for example, I don't know, but favorite parenting books, and list out different ones in the back there. That's my Bookish bullet journal. I'm really excited to have it, and I'm kind of still learning. If you have any tips or ideas for me, let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.